Hey mama, we are here to talk about bonding tips for pregnant autistic moms or moms who are neurodiverse. Sit with me for a minute and I will share some of my favorite tips for bonding with your baby if you are thinking that might be a little bit more difficult because you have unique challenges during your pregnancy experience. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Kristen. I'm a pregnancy coach and I work with mamas all over the world, helping them to enjoy a healthy pregnancy, grow a healthy baby, and prepare for a beautiful birth experience. Now with that, like I said, today we are going to talk over some bonding tips for autistic pregnant moms, and this video and the next video are videos I'm really excited to do. I've been wanting to do some videos specifically for neurodiverse mamas for a while. So let's just jump into things, because pregnant autistic moms can have unique challenges throughout their pregnancy, and that can include things like sensory sensitivities. There we go. And those things can make it feel more difficult to bond with your baby because all of the changes that you're experiencing in your body are overwhelming. There's all kinds of different sensations and things that happen. And even feeling the baby move or being aware that there's a new person growing inside of you can sometimes feel weird or awkward, and you're not quite sure how to handle that. So oftentimes something that can be the first line of defense, the first thing that's helpful with bonding with your baby, is getting control of some of the other physical symptoms and things that are going on. So that can mean things like getting a handle on nausea or vomiting or fatigue or other things that might be going on. Oftentimes, and we're going to talk about this more in my next video actually, but overall just sensory things like light, sound, taste, smell, everything can be heightened for the pregnant mom who is on the spectrum. So when you get a hold of those things, that can be really helpful. And a good way to start doing that is through your diet. So I believe that diet is powerful in pregnancy for every mom, but it's especially important when you are a neurodiverse mom. And especially because sometimes you need some help to get a diet dialed in. Maybe you like eating particular things. I'm totally that mom. Like, I am okay eating the same thing over and over again and safe things over and over again. In my 5th pregnancy, I was really struggling because I only wanted to eat one thing, and I felt like it would be bad for my baby to eat only that one thing. And my midwife finally called me and said, Kristen, it's better to eat that one thing than not to really eat. And so as soon as it was peanut butter sandwiches actually. So as soon as for a few days I ate just the peanut butter sandwiches that I wanted, I started feeling better, and I was able to integrate a little bit more variety into my diet again. But still, throughout all of my pregnancies, I have tended to like to stick to the same things, and that can be helpful just as long as you make sure that you're getting the things that are really critical, which is protein. So think about what protein foods feel good to you, and that high protein can help overcome other things like nausea and some things like fatigue, other things like being out in nature, making sure that you're getting the rest that you need, which is something that's really important for everybody, but especially neurodiverse moms. Those things can really help. And then some practical things to help you feel like you're bonding with your baby once you're feeling better can be, I found that sometimes the really concrete practical stuff helped, because I know that for me, I like routines, I like lists, I like checking off boxes and going through the motions. I like research. So sometimes it can be things like planning what you need for your baby, buying baby supplies, getting a checklist and making sure that you're checking off all of those boxes. Sometimes it could be researching. And when you're pregnant, there are a lot of things to research, not only about pregnancy and birth, but also for your baby. So you may want to research, where do you want your baby to sleep? What do you think about vaccines? What do you want the layette or your baby's clothing to have in it? What car seat would be best? So sometimes doing that research, if you're more of an analytical person like I am, and you like doing that research and you like creating those plans, that can be really helpful. If those things feel overwhelming to you and executive function is something that you struggle with, pregnancy is also a time where you're really blessed, because a lot of other people have made those checklists for you. And so you can gather those things together and feel like you're able to check the boxes. And you can also do what helps you. You don't have to have a baby shower. You don't have to go out to the baby stores. You can order everything these days. Or if you want to go out and look at the baby stores, I found that sort of thing overwhelming most of the time. Once or twice was good for me. but look at what you want to do for your baby. So, and another thing that you can do is plan how you'll create sensory friendly areas for your baby. Like if you think about things like you get overstimulated easily, well, the nice thing about babies is they often want sensory friendly places too. I know that when I was pregnant with my first few babies, I really liked reading about early years Waldorf pedagogy, so Waldorf babies, and it involved like creating cozy spaces with soft light, diffuse light, calm, and those sorts of things are also really soothing to an autistic nervous system as well. So that could be a good thing. And then the other thing is that can help with feeling baby's movements, and this baby is coming and is living in my body, and maybe that feels weird once you're past those initial discomforts, is conceptualizing the truth, the fact that your baby is really a part of you in many ways, and that's the way that biology designed it to be, or God. It doesn't matter what your belief system is. Your baby was designed to be part of you. That's why I named my birthing course Mama Baby Birthing, and my coaching that I do one-on-one with moms is called Mama Baby Rising, because the mom and the baby are really one unit at first. I'm extremely sensitive to touch. Like, I do not like people touching me. When I was a little girl, I didn't like necessarily having too much cuddling from even my parents, and I even have trouble with older children now, but I never really struggled with my babies too much, because when they came out, they were really very much part of me. However, if I did feel overstimulated and my baby still wanted me, I found that there were tools. Again, a nice thing about babyhood is things that help baby often help you, like tools like a swaddle can help because it contains baby and it lets you hold the baby. It soothes the baby because baby is being held tightly, and it can soothe you as well, but you're not having to make skin-to-skin contact or don't have a baby who's flailing everywhere. So learning some of those parenting techniques and thinking through some of that stuff can help. But I think the big thing is just realize that, and this is true, this research, there's not a lot of research yet about pregnancy and autistic moms, but there is research coming, and it's pretty reassuring in that it shows that moms often bond well with their babies. They don't find breastfeeding to be difficult, or if they find it to be difficult at first, they're often able to overcome, because a lot of autistic mamas are research driven and know that it's good for baby. So I'm not saying that's a blanket statement for everybody, but it is true that a lot of autistic mamas are able to just really feel like baby is part of them. And so some of the same issues that they would have with other people are not as present with their baby. And another thing to remember is that a lot of times autistic women, people really benefit from having higher levels of support or one-on-one support. And one of the nice things about pregnancy is it is a time where you can often get that support. You can have a doula, or you can have a postpartum doula, somebody to come in. You can have a midwife for your care. You can have somebody like me as a pregnancy coach, and I am literally every day one-on-one support there if you need that kind of high-level, high-touch support. If you want that, definitely reach out to me. I'll have information below. But with that, I hope that this has been interesting to you. I know there's not a lot of information out there yet, so I'm hoping that this is helpful.